Hey everybody, welcome to my channel and very first video for a series I am going to title Breaking Down Naruto, where I will be breaking down characters from Naruto. I will be going over their abilities, how powerful I think they are, and where I personally think they rank. For this first video, I'll be talking about Jiraiya, a character that is somewhat hard to rank. I have seen a lot of videos and forums about where people rank Jiraiya, and I have yet to see any I agree with. So let's get started. I would first like to talk about Jiraiya's Sage Mode, and why I think it's underrated and could be one of the most strongest versions. I know people are going to point out that it was said his form is, quote, incomplete. Well, incomplete doesn't really mean weaker, right? I mean, it's incomplete in the sense that he can't gather nature energy on his own. But I feel that's an advantage because since he can't do it by himself, the two toads do it for him. So he never has to worry about gathering it. I don't want to say he gets infinite amount, but I'm pretty sure his would last a pretty long time. And having the two toads is a huge advantage. These two toads are pretty intelligent on their own. So that gives Jiraiya 2 extra minds to try to figure out how to defeat somebody, which is pretty cool, right? And then the two toads can also cast their own jutsu, and that gives Jiraiya 2 extra jutsu users, which is also pretty awesome. Now, Jiraiya's Sage Mode does have 2 major flaws in it. The first being it takes him forever to activate it, and the second, it makes them look pretty uncool in front of the women, right? Alright, no, but it does take him forever to activate it. And let's not forget that he did manage to activate it against Pain. Albeit just one body, but Pain is still a pretty high level ninja, and that's still pretty impressive. And it was the summoning body, so he had a lot of summons going after Jiraiya with all shared vision, and Jiraiya was still able to cast other jutsu while trying to activate it and avoid getting stopped by Pain and all those creatures. So I think it's pretty safe to assume that even though it's really hard for him to activate it, I do give him a pretty high chance to activate it against pretty high opponents. Now, where do I rank Jiraiya? Well, I like using the Akatsuki as a pretty good scaling system. And I've always had him in the upper part of the Akatsuki. But most videos I see, forums I read, people always have him in the bottom half, and I don't know, I just never saw him in the bottom half. I do think the only ones Jiraiya would have that could probably go 50-50 would be Itachi, Pain, Obito, and Sasori. Now, we already know he lost the Pain, and I know a lot of people hate hearing that if he knew Pain's secret, he would have won. And I know a lot of people like to take that statement and say it's meaningless or throw it out or just whatever. And, you know, it's not how that works. I mean, if Pain said it, then it's true. He's not going to make something up for no reason. And that's actually pretty impressive to know that he could have taken down Pain had he knew the secret. I've seen so many people take certain things said in the manga or anime about a certain character, and people like to just, if they don't agree with that narrative, they say, oh, they didn't mean that, or they just said it to say it, or whatever. And you can't cherry pick praise in the anime. That's not how that works. Praise is praise. If you don't like the character, that doesn't make that statement, not true. Now, Jiraiya is so powerful. He had 2 Akatsuki members not really wanting to fight him. Itachi and Kasami. And now, I don't think Jiraiya could 2v1 them. I don't think he can 2v1 any Akatsuki. But they still didn't want to fight him because they knew they wouldn't come out of it unscathed, and you'd look bad if you did fight him like that and almost lost or whatever. But yeah, he's so powerful that they tried to go way out of the way to not fight him, to not confront him. They didn't want any part of that. Now you can also make the case that, you know, Itachi technically was a good guy, so maybe he didn't want to kill Jiraiya, which I can totally believe if that's the case, because one of the most powerful ninja in the Leaf Village and could help protect it, which is what Itachi really cared about. So I probably didn't want to kill Jiraiya. If that's true, I believe it. Now, in the data books, they have Jiraiya, his ranking is 35.5, which was before they stopped doing the rankings, was tied with Itachi as the two highest. So of course they don't have later characters, Pain and all that in there, so we don't know what their ranking would have been and all that. Now back to the Akatsuki ranking. The reason I have him high up is because I think he could, you know, if he fought Hidan, which is everybody's all in agreement on that he's probably the weakest in Akatsuki, aside from, you know, Zetsu, he can beat Hidan probably somewhat easily. He would have trouble with Kakuzu. He would have trouble with Kisame. We saw him defeat Conan basically in 2 seconds. So, but he knew her weakness, and he was her teacher. So of course that you can't really count that. But I do think his fight with, you know, Sasori would be pretty close, because I have Sasori ranked pretty high in Akatsuki. I know a lot of people, you know, hey, but Sakura defeated him, so he's weak. Yeah, no, I mean, I know people are tired of hearing that Sasori let them win, which he technically did, but in the fight, Sakura had, you know, if Sasori didn't fight Kankuro, she would not have had the antidote, and she would have got hit. That fight would have ended while still having the third Kazekage intact. And so he's a lot stronger than people give him credit for, and you got to imagine that he was also fighting his grandma, who helped train him and knew probably about 60% of his things. So it's really hard to, you know, for people to see past that and put Sasori high. So I have him pretty high, and because if Jiraiya gets poisoned, this poison is it's pretty crazy. So Jiraiya would have to go that entire fight without getting a scratch, and I don't know if he could do that. As for Itachi, it's be hard to see how Jiraiya would deal with the Yata mirror while trying not to get hit by the Totsuka blade, not falling into Genjutsu, which Itachi's pretty badass at. That would be a pretty crazy fight. As for Obito, well, he's obviously really powerful. He's the leader of the Akatsuki. But can Jiraiya fight him? Jiraiya can't find a way around the space-time jutsu, but can Obito land a hit on, you know, powerful hits on Jiraiya without, you know, because I don't think Jiraiya's going to let him teleport him in there very easily. You know, I just don't know. I'm pretty sure Obito would probably win anyways, but it'd be a pretty interesting fight, I believe. So yeah, I have him in the top 5 of the Akatsuki. Now, Jiraiya's hailed as one of the greatest ninja of his generation. I mean, that's in the data books. That was so the way people always have him pretty low, which is kind of weird to me. He's actually so powerful that when news that he died by pain had Kakashi just like could not believe that someone he was powerful enough to take down Jiraiya on their own. Like, it was really shocking to him. So that gives you some insight into how powerful he is if somebody's thinking that he should have just won any fight that he's in. He's very knowledgeable in a lot of things. I'd also like to point out that he managed to extinguish Amaterasu, which is supposed to be, you know, you can't. It's been said over and over that it just burns whatever. But early on, he managed to seal it. He got rid of it. That's actually a pretty good testament because I think he's the only non-shouting gun user to, get rid of Amaterasu. Let's also not forget all the people he's trained. They've all become some of the most powerful characters in the series. You don't do that if you're weak, right? I mean, so that's also a testament to how powerful he is. But yeah, so I think he's very powerful, and I think he's underrated compared to other videos and forums I've read about. And especially if my idea about his sage mode is right, makes him even more stronger. Just makes him just very powerful. But anyways, yeah, I know this is gonna make a lot of people angry because people have their own opinions about characters. But I'm open for discussion. Write down in the comments where you rank Jiraiya in terms of Akatsuki, and what do you think of my idea of a sage mode? Do you think it's more powerful with having the two toads? I know it takes forever to activate, but it's got to be pretty powerful with that. So go ahead and leave in the comments, see if you guys agree, and let's discuss where you put Jiraiya. And until next time, see you later.